to another behind the scenes cake life vlog. I am going to catch you up on what you missed last week when I wasn't vlogging, so the week in between the last vlog and this one. And I mentioned that I was going to see Mrs. Doubtfire at the theatre. I did eventually have a nice shower. I've gone back to looking exactly like I did. But Mrs. Doubtfire at Manchester was amazing. It is easily up there as one of my favourite musicals I have ever gone to see. At the moment, it's only showing at Manchester. It hasn't announced that it's touring anywhere. It's come straight from Broadway over to Manchester. It's on, I think, till the beginning of October. So you've still got a little bit of time, I think, when this goes up. Do not miss it. If you can get tickets, buy them. I would easily go and watch that again. Abby actually put Mrs. Doubtfire on last night, the film to watch, and it's absolutely spot on. They got all the really important quotes and lines in there, and it was perfect. So I did that on the Monday. The Wednesday I had my visitor to the studio, so I have done a collab with another Northwest YouTuber. It is manifested itself as a tutorial which will be coming in October. I didn't film anything. I don't have visitors that often. I very rarely have visitors. So when I did, I just, like, because she's a YouTuber as well, she was getting all her footage and her pictures and everything, and I just didn't get anything to share. So this happens all the time. I just get wrapped up in the moment and completely forget what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm just like, oh, there's another human, la la la, and then probably scared her off with all my blabbing and talking. But yeah, I didn't get any pictures to share, and I didn't want to rob hers without her permission. So you'll just have to stick around until October to see what the tutorial is, and then you can also go to her channel and see the part that she has filmed. But that was really lovely to catch up with another YouTuber, because I'm also a patron of hers as well, so it was lovely to meet her. But yeah, like I said, I just kind of got caught up in the moment and got nothing to share with you. Then had our Cherry Brigade Zoom call. So we were on that for a good hour, talking through what everybody's making, giving advice on some cakes that were upcoming that they needed a little bit of help on, and it was mostly just chit chat of a lot of craft stuff as well, talking about crafting gadgets such as Cricut machines and things. And then on the Friday, it was quite horrific. So I had my dentist appointment. I haven't really kept you up to date with the whole dentist thing, but I'm still on my dental journey. The ones I'm currently having are temporaries again. I had the crowns all removed because I didn't like them, and I was there for 4 hours. It was a 4-hour mammoth session of removing all the crowns, having several impressions taken, several of the top, several of the bottom pictures. Another dentist came in for opinions. Yeah, that was a tough one. I did really well until right at the end, where she shoved something in and all the kind of goo that they take the impression with covered the whole top of the roof of my mouth, and it made me gag, and it was horrendous. And then right after that, after I had like 8 different injections in my mouth and it was all numb and all my mouth was sore, I had a cake tasting in the afternoon. That was really lovely. It's always nice to meet the couples and hear what designs and things they want and what themes they want. They give me lots of different themes, and that's what I did yesterday. I drew up their cake yesterday on Bank Holiday Monday, and I'm about to send that over this morning to get their feedback. As for the weekend itself, that's what I ended up doing, just doing some cake designs, and I was also trying to get my holiday to-do list down as well as my Christmas to-do list. So I've been buying the odd little Christmas present just to try and spread the cost out a little bit, because obviously, I know I've mentioned this before, but I booked this holiday before there was a cost of living crisis, and now I'm kind of regretting it because yeah, it's just been more difficult than I thought to try and get everything ready and everything paid for, because it's coming around very quickly, and it's also very close to Christmas, so I've got kind of like 2 big jobs to get done. And because it's me who does all these type of jobs, I'm the one that is booking and sorting the holiday, every single aspect, from insurance, Esther's, paying for it, booking it, choosing it. Same with Christmas. It's me that usually buys all the Christmas presents, sorts out what everybody's going to get, wraps them. But in balance to that, Adam this weekend has spent the one whole day doing all the washing and the ironing. So all the ironing's done. So that's kind of our weird dynamic that we have going on. I might get like a lot of stressful work doing all the Christmas and the birthdays and the bills and the household insurances and everything like that, and he's the one who does like the ironing and the washing, so it does balance itself out. But this is where we are today. It is Tuesday. I have my cake in the oven already. I have one cake this week. I'm not going to lie, it is not something I would usually take on, but this is my last cake for a repeat customer. So she's been a repeat customer for many years, and obviously I had to let them all know in January that my minimum order value had now gone up to £300. So a lot of those repeat customers who always spent the same amount every year that wasn't anywhere near £300 have obviously had to drop off, and this is one of them. So this is her last cake, but it's not a cake I would usually say yes to. I'm doing it because obviously it's her last cake and I want to make sure that somebody can fulfill it. But that is in the oven. I will chat to you more about that this week as I'm making it. But other jobs for today, I'm going to send that cake drawing over to the clients and see what they think of it. And I'm also got to do the food shopping list. I know this is a very boring job. Is there anybody else who absolutely hates doing the food shopping list? For me, it's the whole choosing what to eat for teas and dinners for the week that just... it's the most boring job in the world. So over the bank holiday weekend, I also worked on this, which I'm very proud of. And it's not finished yet, but I'm going to show you what it is. So Adam created this very simple Excel sheet. It's nowhere near finished. I've only got like a third of the recipes or ideas on there, but we have a column for whether it's a dinner or a tea item, the actual name of what it is, like spag bol. And then in the top we've got meat, veggies, if it's chilled, tins, sauces, spices, and then a link to the recipe. So this stands for Pinch of Nom. So this is a recipe book called Pinch of Nom, and it's on page 38. So I know if I want to make this, because I maybe have not made it that many times before and don't know it off by heart, I know that which recipe book it's in and what page it's on. And similarly, I've got some with links if it's an internet recipe as well. But the whole point of this was to document all the different sorts of teas and dinners we usually eat, so that I can literally just look at them and choose them rather trying to remember what they are. And then I've got V for whether it's vegetarian, so the green, or like if they're vegetarian. And I can also search for something, so say like I buy a tub of cream cheese, I can type and search for cream cheese, and it will highlight all the other recipes that also uses cream cheese. So maybe we can eat mushroom toast for dinner, and then we've got these mushroom carbonara could also use up the rest of the cream cheese. So I am going to put every single recipe I can think of and I've used in the past. I've only got to here so far stuff on there like it's as simple as fish and chips. If you don't write it down, sometimes you forget that that's an option. Stuff like cottage pie. There's obviously veg version, so you've got cottage pie with mince and then a veg cottage pie, which will use lentils instead. But it doesn't stop here. The reason why this is good is because I have an iPhone, so I can open my iCloud on here, and I have my notes open. So I've got this week here, Monday the 19th, Tuesday the 20th is today. I can literally copy and paste my tea and dinner ideas. So this is the dinner one, this is the tea one. So say I want veg lasagna, I can highlight all the ingredients for that, copy, paste it underneath this table. So it's put all my ingredients in there for my shopping list. So this will then automatically be on my phone. So when I go food shopping, I'll obviously put that we're having veg lasagna, and these are all the items I need to pick up for said lasagna. I know it's the most nerdiest thing you have ever seen or heard of, but for somebody who absolutely hates this job with a passion, trying to figure out what we're all going to eat, I think I'm going to find this really helpful. So this week is the first week I'm going to be using this. I'm doing the food shop today, tonight, so we'll see how this goes. But it also helps because we try to do this anyway. We decide what we're going to have and we only buy the ingredients for those meals to try and keep the costs lower. We're not just picking up anything and everything and then deciding what we're going to have, because we end up throwing a lot of stuff away, like a bag of carrots or a bag of potatoes that we might have bought. So we do have wastage if we don't do this. So it's going to save money and it's going to save time and it's going to save my brain, hopefully. But I've rambled on enough this morning. I'm going to carry on with my list and carry on with my admin stuff and check in with you in a little bit. This has taken me all morning, most of the afternoon. I actually had the whole thing filled and rough ganashed by 10 o'clock this morning. But it's all taken this afternoon because I've had to make several batches of ganache. This has got over 1.5 kilos of chocolate on it, just because of the size. I mean, you can't really see. It's a 10-inch square, it's very, very deep, and it's very, very heavy. I don't usually do squares. I had to dig my square tins out for this one, because as you know, I usually only do round cakes. So it is a one-off. Like I said, this is the last cake for a repeat customer. So she kind of gets away with it. She gets away with ordering a square. It's also going to have a separate board on the top with a military helmet, a replica British military helmet, I think it is. I've been given the size specifications, and that's what I was making out of Rice Krispie treats in the last vlog. I actually ran out. So I went and got some more marshmallows, so I'm going to be making some more of that up to bulk the helmet out, because this is obviously the cake part they're eating, and then they can keep this as a little ornament if they want, if they just want to keep it as like a little cake topper. But I'm just waiting for this to stick itself to the board, and then I'm going to cover it. It's just a regular white square, so hopefully that will all be finished by the time it's home time today. It's actually the next day now. I did get my cake covered in white. I'm having such a crisis with this blooming helmet because I have all the dimensions and I mapped it out on my greaseproof paper and started making the bulk of the helmet, but the pictures are so deceiving. These are just regular images online because the other images that I've got are very similar. But this bit at the back looks really quite long, so that's kind of like how I drew it. And this bit is going to be like the overhang here. But then there's like, in other pictures it doesn't look quite as big. So this is the picture. This is very similar to a picture I was sent of the back, and this back bit looks really quite big. Yet when you look at other pictures, it looks very small. It's like different sizes on each of the different helmets. And sometimes the lip comes out a lot and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, this looks huge. This looks, to me, the same size as what I've drawn. But the actual overall thing doesn't look big enough to be a helmet either. So I'm just really struggling. I've had to go and buy, I'm now on my 4th and 5th bag of marshmallows. I bought 2 more bags of marshmallows there and some more Rice Krispies. I have used so much ingredients and boards and everything on this cake. I am not going to make any profit whatsoever. Lesson learned, this is what happens when you take a cake on that you don't necessarily usually make, so then you quote it wrong and you don't make any money on it, and you stress yourself out trying to get it as accurate as possible because you don't want them to be disappointed with it. But yeah, it's just another one of those stressful weeks. I'm going to make some more Rice Krispies and probably make a new board and make it a little bit bigger. But I've only got today and until like tomorrow evening to get it done. It's still only 8:30 in the morning and this is how far I've got. I have made the base much bigger. Now I think the lips are a little bit more in proportion, hopefully. And the hat's looking a lot bigger, like it would actually fit on somebody's head. But I've run out of ganache. So I'm now on my 4th batch of ganache. I'm going to sit down and do the maths for this after, just to see how much I have actually spent in ingredients on this one. Just before I head off to dinner, I'm going to show you the update. So this is a 8-inch square cake drum that is going on top of a 10-inch cake, and it will overhang because obviously the hat is supposed to be 26 centimetres, which is nearly 10-inch. So by the time I've got the overhang of the sugar paste, because it's going to come down a bit further than this, it should be a very similar size. But this is all Rice Krispies. I then added some sugar paste pieces, so this lip hanging down here in a spike is the front, and then I have the sugar paste bit at the back, which I am going to lay when I come to do the whole navy bit. I'm going to allow the navy to hang down a bit further. But this is on a foam core board, which is hot glued to 2 5-inch drums. So the drums are hot glued together, and then it's hot glued to this. So hopefully it's not going anywhere, but you can kind of see the overhang, how that's working. So when I get back from dinner, it will be a case of then covering this in navy and decorating it. Last little update before I go home for tea. It's home time in about 10 minutes, and this is where I'm up to. I've got the board covered in navy with some stitch detailing to match the helmet. This is nowhere near finished yet. I've got the spike and the detail on the top. We've got stitching detail. All this is going to be painted in like a deep gold, so it's almost like a brassy colour. I've got these side pieces on, and they have like little hooks that the chin strap chains to. I've still got a gold strip to put down the back, but in terms of size, I think it's pretty spot on. This cake is just over 26 centimetres. So that's about right, and everything else is correct in size, so I'm just hoping it passes. But yeah, lots and lots of work to do still on the cake, and it's got to have a huge big front medal on it, the chin strap down here somewhere. I've got to put the name, the age. It's got to have chain all the way around the bottom. So what I've decided to do is go home, make everybody's tea, and actually come back down to finish it today. I know I still have tomorrow, but it's just stressing me out. It's just stressing me out, and I just want to get it finished. So I think I'm going to come down tonight and do a lot more and see if I can actually get it done today. Get it fully finished last night. I was here for 3 hours painting, making this. Well, you saw what I was doing, but the whole bottom now has a chain around it. Everything still needs
painting chain wise, and then I have just the name and the age to do this morning, and then it's fully finished. I went home at 10 p.m. At least the pressure is off today because there's very minimal left to do, and I know I'll be able to do it before collection. So, and then I've got obviously a lot of tidying to do. 2 hours later and I am finally done. It takes so long to paint, especially chains, because you have to paint all the outside bumps, all the inside bumps, all the other side, just to make sure that it's all covered. But I am finally done. It is a replica of a Manchester Regiment military helmet. The chin strap has like a piece of material on it to sew to like a certain point, and then there's left a bit of regular chain. So if you're wondering why I have a little bit extra over there and not here, it's because I've tried to keep to as close to the original as possible. It even has the little hooks where you attach the chin strap, and there's also a little hook here on the back where I think if they're not using the chin strap, I think it goes across the front of the helmet here and then hooks on that back. Not entirely sure, not an expert. But yeah, it's finished. I don't know if I mentioned, because I can't remember what I filmed, because it's been a bit of a whirlwind, if I'm being honest. I've just kind of got stuck in and I am mentally drained from doing this one. So I can't remember if I've already mentioned it, but they requested a lemon or gold board. And this is where I've deviated again. They were very, very specific with the whole thing, so that's why it's a square. As you know, I don't do squares. I had all the sizes and everything written out for me, and they requested a yellow or gold board. And the reason I didn't do that is yellow, I think, would have cheapened it. Gold, obviously, you wouldn't have been able to see the chain detail, because the chain detail was another request around the base. So you would have had a gold chain and a gold board, and I think there would have just been too much gold. So I took creative license again and did the board in navy. So I hope they like it, but I think it looks much better in navy. If you've already heard all this before, I'm sorry. I just have no idea what day it is, what time it is, and what I've already chatted to you about. I'm just glad it's finished, because I'm going to box it up, take it home, because they're not going to collect it until tonight. And we're out of the studio obviously at about 3:30 today, so I'm chuffed this one's finished. I'm gonna get it boxed up. I'm back home now, and I've just arrived to some post. I ordered some thread for my sewing machine, because I'm finally going to get round to doing a little bit of sewing. These are for my holiday clothes, so a long time ago in the vlog you'll have seen I bought a few bits and pieces, such as a green skirt and a pink skirt, to go with various outfits, and they are a little bit long. And I also got that cheap skirt, remember, in the sale, that was actually too wide and too long, for the Hufflepuff and also the Toy Story Disney bound I have planned. So I've decided to pick up some of the cotton in the right colour, hopefully, and see if I can sew them and take them in. Now, my auntie is really good with a sewing machine. She makes costumes for dance troupes, and she made Abby's rat costume for Disneyland Paris out of a regular blanket. I just bought a grey fluffy blanket, and she somehow turned it into a rat costume. So she could go as Remy from Ratatouille. So I did ask her if she would give me a few lessons, but I wanted to pay her for them. I know what she's like, and she would probably just show it me for free, but I don't want that. I want to, when you've got a skill like that, I feel like it should be paid for. So I want to pay her for it, but I've not set it up yet because I'm a little short on funds. So I do want to start doing that, but I want to make sure that I can pay her first. So I don't know. I don't know whether to give it a go myself or wait until I've got a little bit of money and go and see her to kind of show me how to do it so I don't ruin them.
But I've also been shopping on Vinted. So Vinted is a second-hand clothing website. There's another one called Depop. Them are the two that I know of, and obviously eBay. But if it's clothes and things you're looking for, then Vinted has been really good. This is a brand new with its tag still on. And I got this for Kai because we're going to Universal, which obviously that's a Harry Potter area in both parks. And I spotted this t-shirt, which is obviously the night bus. I think it roughly cost me about £7 altogether with postage and the buyer's fee, like protection fee that they put on. But I had a look online and this is £14.99 from Zavvi. And like I said, it does have its ticket on, so it is brand new. But I thought that was a bit of a bargain. So I've been buying a lot of my stuff second hand from Vinted or very, very cheap. And I have several other t-shirts come in. Just stuff like this, character stuff that we don't have. We're taking a lot of our own clothes that we obviously already own. But to be able to do Disney bounds, I have had to buy the odd little bits and pieces. So yeah, that's the first Vinted item come through for Kai. I'll leave it linked below if you want to go and have a look. I am not sponsored or anything like that. I just thought it would come in handy for people who may really need to put something in the wardrobe but can't quite afford anything brand new. Some of the items I've paid £1 for. It's literally £1 for the item, £2 for delivery, and then they put like a 75p buyer's protection fee on there. The lowest they start from really altogether with all that in is about £4, which is cheap enough compared to some of the brand new items in the shops. So yeah, go and have a look and see what you can get. But I am back home. I've brought the cake home with me because that's being collected from here tonight. And I'm about to start editing the challenge cake tutorial. I don't even know if I've told you, this is getting ridiculous now. I've just done an Instagram story. It's the first time I've done an Instagram story where I've talked to the phone like I do a vlog. Instagram stories for me is usually a picture or a quiet video or a reel with music to it. It's never me talking to the camera. And I've just done one and it's already thrown me way off because I don't know if I've already told you that I'm going to be editing this afternoon because I've literally just told the stories that, and I can't remember if I told you that I was going to do that when I was at the studio. So it's thrown me way off. But that's what I'm doing. I'm editing this afternoon. But the studio, as you know, has a little climate of its own. When it's hot, it's unbearably hot. And when it's cold, it's very cold. And they haven't turned the heating on yet. And I do not blame them because obviously we all know it costs a lot of money. So the building hasn't put their heating on yet. But my room, where it is, because I'm on a floor all of my own upstairs and there's nobody else up there. So there's kind of no other bodies or anything to keep the floor warm. So everybody's a little bit warmer downstairs and I'm freezing upstairs and my nose hasn't stopped running because it's so cold. So I've come home and I've put my fluffy robe on because it's actually a little bit warmer here than it is at work, which is saying something because I don't have the heating on here either yet. I am doing all I can to save money. We are going to buy one of those teddy bear bed sheets. Do you have some of those? Have you even heard of them? The teddy bear sheets look amazing. They're like this fluffy, fleecy, super soft material, but you put it on as a bed sheet. Hopefully that will keep us warm. And I'm also going to buy some hot water bottles as well. I used to have a hot water bottle back in the day because our family home that we lived in didn't have any central heating, so we are hardcore. And we had hot water bottles, so you should think I would be used to the cold by now. I just don't like being cold. It annoys me when I'm cold. So I'm a big fan of all of the snuggly blankets and the soft robes and things. But thank you if you tagged me in the Primark snuddy. I had so many messages, DMs. Primark have released obviously the snuddies for winter. Kai has a Winnie the Pooh one that he bought himself. Abby also has a grey one that she got bought. So there's only me and Adam that don't have snuddies at the moment, but they're essentially massive wearable blankets that are really fleecy and thick, and Primark has got a few different designs, but one of them has cute little cherries on it, and I have been sent it so many times and I've resisted. I have actually seen it in store. It's about £20. I very nearly bought it and then resisted and thought, do you know what, I need to buy other things first. But it is there, it's on my list. If I have the spare, I will go and get the cherry snuddy because it comes with some matching socks as well. And then there's one with like bacon and breakfast items on it, and I thought that one would be perfect for Adam. So we'll be a family of snuddy wearers and hot water bottle huggers in the hope to keep the prices down a little bit. But there's always a way. We started stocking up on candles. I've got a few of my big jar candles out. You know how much I love these ones from Home Bargains. This is the clean linen one, and I buy 2 of the same. So I have one lit over here near the door, and I have one lit over there on the other side of the room. But anyway, that's enough cost of living crisis talk. I am going to pop the computer on and start editing this vlog and just see how many times I have duplicated stuff that I've told you already. Also, this was a very, very naughty purchase. I found him in the range and he was literally like £2, if that. And we've been looking for an owl for the top of our Christmas tree in here for years. It's been years. And I've never been able to find a cute owl because they all look really angry. They either looked like really shocked, like they've stepped in a big pile of cold dog poo, or they look really, really angry because they usually stick those massive fluffy eyebrows on them. But this is the first one I found that actually looks quite cute. So finally we have a tree topper for the living room. This is not the sort of thing I should be buying, but he was £2, so I let myself have him. Good morning. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I know the vlog is already long enough, but it is now Sunday and I've been in the studio creating some of the Halloween rad slab designs. It's very difficult to only do one of each design because I usually work in bulk, so it was very difficult, which means each of them are a little bit rushed. But this is a Jack Skellington themed one. He is obviously the Pumpkin King at Halloween, so we have jelly pumpkins, we've got some orange jelly beans, pumpkin sprinkles, bat sprinkles, with some purple swirlies going on in the background. We've then got this year's Stranger Things inspired slab, which is for Surfer Boy Pizza. You have to be a fan and have watched it to kind of know what this means. But this is the whole does pineapple belong on pizza debate and try before you deny. I am personally a massive pineapple on pizza fan. So this comes with pizza slices, pineapple gummies, pineapple sprinkles, and then some tropical pineapple flavoured pieces. We have our usual Halloween design, which is the Spooky Sprinkle Stein. I tried to make it very similar to last year, but there's just some things I cannot get my hands on anymore. This has apple flavoured millions on it. It's got lots of gummy body parts. We have Dracula teeth, brains, toes, eyeballs. These will vary by design as I make them. Some of them will have different fingers and toes on. Some will have maggots and things on them. And similar to this, new to me this time, is actually these mini bars. And this is something I've thought about doing for a while because I am going to be doing these as wedding favours, obviously not body part ones. But the size of them are perfect for little wedding favours on the table settings. But I've done some Halloween ones for now. They are very similar to the sprinkle steins. They're just mini versions and they come with different tiny little messages on, and these will come as a set. I'm not sure how many to put in a set yet, but you'll be able to buy these in sets of, so like sets of 6 or sets of 9, whatever I decide. But these just need cleaning up, i.e. just like bits chopping off where I've kind of overfilled the mould. And then lastly, something I haven't finished yet is the Hocus Pocus themed slab. As you can see, it is based on book
which is Winnie's spell book, and he just needs his stitches. So the stitches are going to go on after he is set, obviously. So we have the little snakes down the spine, in the corners we have the eye, he's awake, and then it just needs the stitching putting on. Now these are all fairly quick to put together in terms of the gummies already exist, so I'm able to just put those on. These are all handmade, so I've had to hand make the eye, the clasp, the snake. This is a mould, but it was incredibly difficult to get these out of the mould. So this one is going to be incredibly limited edition, and it's going to be a higher price because of all the handmade items on it, and I still have to hand pipe the stitching on as well. So just a word of warning, this one is going to be dearer. It's going to be very, very limited because these ones are much easier and quicker to kind of bash out than this one is. But you'll have just heard my phone go off there. That's telling me it's now time to go home. It's time for tea. I'm going to end the vlog here. Keep your eyes peeled. These might already be up on Instagram by the time this vlog goes up. Please grab one from the shop if you want them. This is going to keep me, well, I'm hoping this is going to keep me going, the chocolate slabs, because I did have a cake booked in for next week and I'm not actually sure what's happening with it yet because I've not heard anything. So just another day in the life of little Cherry. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in another one.